So, welcome everybody to my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss from Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is second chapter, verse 20. So, our topic is He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. So, actually, we will discuss about soul, Atma. So, the text is here. So, you can recite the verse also. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वत अयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमने शरीरे. So Lord Krishna actually explaining uh, about soul to his dear friend Arjuna. So just let's understand this verse. Na jayate, na means never. Jayate takes birth. Mriyate, mriyate means dies. Ba kadachit, at any time. Kadachit means past, present and future. It means in past, present and future it never takes birth or dies. Bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah. So for to support this kadachin, Lord Krishna actually explaining that Bhutva having come into being, Bhavita will come to be, Bhutva ba na bhuyah or is again come to be. So these three stages is described here. Means Bhutva, Bhavita and Bhuyah. So just we call it past, present and future. So then the question arises, then what is its qualities? It never takes birth and never dies. Then what? Ajo, he says unborn. Aja, Aja means unborn, which never takes birth. But we see the body, actually we have a birthday. Nityaha, so soul is eternal, not temporary. Sashwataha, permanent. Puranaha, the oldest. It is not new. Na hanyate hanyane sarire. Hanyate means is killed. Hanya mane being killed, sarire. If the body is being killed, still the soul is not killed. So translation is here. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. So he is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So in the purport, actually as you know, so this Bhagavad Gita as it is, actually Srila Prabhupada translated this book from the Vedanta Bhashya written by Baladev Vidyabhushan. And also he took the help of other commentaries by different acharyas. So here we will understand it from the Vaishnava theology of Vaishnava ways of understanding. And also we will try to understand how the Mayavadi, the impersonalists, they think. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned Generally, we Vaishnava accept that the soul is the atomic fragmental part of the Supreme Spirit is soul. So, because the soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, so that the soul has some qualities similar with the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Spirit. So that's why qualitatively the minute soul, a small atomic soul, is equal with the Supreme Spirit soul, Supreme Spirit. But the Supreme Spirit soul, uh, because it is a part of the Supreme Spirit, it never undergoes any changes like the body. Generally, people think the body and the soul both are equal. Few days ago, I was preaching, one person came to me. That person actually was telling me, just look, he was in the mirror, in my vehicle mirror, myself, and you know uh, the soul. He was trying to explain that there is no difference, but there is difference. Huh? There is difference. That's why the soul is sometimes called a steady. It is called kutastha. Hmm? Steady means it is permanent. It never, like there is no changes of a soul. But the body, we have this body, is subject to 6 kind of transformations. Uh, it takes birth from the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. Okay? So, this is the condition of the body. But the soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. So the soul does not take birth there. The soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death. In latter verses we will read that how जातस्य ही ध्रुव मृत्यु ध्रुव जन्म मृतस्य तस्मात् अपरिहार्यर्थे नैनम सोचितो अर्हसि. So Lord Krishna was telling, no, this body, the certain day, in that date it takes birth. You have no, when you see your horoscope for your future, sometimes the astrologer, they predict. So they ask you what is your date of birth, what is the exact time, and we also give them the exact time. Your janma kundali आप देते हैं. So same way this body has certain. So one may think how, when the body actually takes birth, from that day onwards the living entity got the consciousness, got the soul. No. In Bhagavatam, Kapili Muni explained that how karmana daivanetrena jantovo upapadyate means from the very day of conception the living entity, the soul, actually enters to the mother's womb, because it takes shelter of the semen of father, and the mother becomes pregnant, and later that small pea, the semen transfers into a body. So that's why the body has the birthday, not the soul, because prior to this body appeared in this material world, the soul exists. That's why therefore he has no past, present or future. Eternal, ever existing. There is no trace in history of his coming into being. There is no history. You cannot say exactly. So few years before I was preaching in South India. So that time there was a movie released. That movie was Magadhira. So in that movie, they showed that how the reincarnation happened, means rebirth happens. So the hero and the heroine both were actually previously they were king, and they have some love affair, but in I think 500 years before, so there was they died, but later recently they again takes birth. So later they have the love story in that movie they were showing. So generally sometimes the movie maker also they show these things, that people still they see the movies, but they don't understand this message, how the soul is eternal, how the soul actually transmigrates from one body to another body uh, in different times. So this under the impression of the body, uh, under this impression of the body, we seek the history of birth. Sometimes we seek it. Sometimes people come, what uh, actually I was in my previous life. Sometimes people come, please Swamiji tell me, पिछले जन्म में क्या था. Sometimes they were so curious what will happen in future. So the astrology and the astronomers, astrologers, they sometimes actually tell, predict that yes, in future you will be, you know, you are going to be do all these things. Like Srila Prabhupada said, so in his childhood, the astrologer said, this boy, this child is a very extraordinary child. Now, when this child will become 70 years of old, that time this person will go to the west and he established 108 temples. So Srila Prabhupada said like that. So that was also truth. So sometimes the so-called old men, they free themselves that to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. So I what to speak of old men? Let me speak my own realizations. What I was doing in my childhood, I was reading in the school, I was playing with my friends. Still, these memories are fresh in my mind. Hmm? So the changes of the body do not affect the soul. Sometimes you may have some analogy like the body's byproduct is son and daughter. Okay, हमसे बच्चा पैदा हो जाते हैं. But does the soul actually expand like soul A has given birth to soul B? No, the soul never divides. That is separate soul. Your son and daughters, these souls are separate souls. That's why when you beget child, you have to be very careful that how you are going to invite the soul. Suppose you have the proper mood. That's why Srila Prabhupada says, actually the child we beget, it comes from mind. Suppose it comes from your mind, then it goes to your heart, then that actually transforms to the your partner, yeah, wife. Then both have that you have that interest, yeah, you have that desire to beget a child. So that's why the byproducts of the body like the children are also different individual souls. It is not that soul divided. हाँ, कोई बोलता है ये आत्मा डिवाइड हो गया एक आत्मा. No, not like that. So that's why they appear as children of a particular man. So the body develops because the soul presence. So sometimes you see the tumors body में कुछ ऐसा फूडी हो जाता है, because that flesh increases, yeah, it develops because the existence of soul is there. Nowadays the scientists, they are trying to manufacture the I think it is organic meats, they are calling it organic meat, Means, so they try to develop the tissues of certain animals body, and they think that if they will produce this meat, then this meats will be organic, yeah, not harmful, because they think that we are not going to kill the animal, but we are supplying the meats to the people. They are thinking like that. They have this plan. So here it is said the soul is free from all the six senses of the body. Let's say Katho Upanishad. I told all of you previously that there are 108 Upanishads. So specifically in Bhagavad Gita, Swetasara Upanishad, Kotha Upanishad, Keno Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, some of the Upanishads verses are um, mentioned. So why? Because the Upanishads, when you are means it is put in this purport that it is we are giving the evidences from the different scriptures to support, yeah, to understand this verse in a very clear way. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायम कुतश्चन न भवित कश्चित् बभूव कश्चित् अजो नित्य शाश्वत अयम पुराण न हन्यति हन्यमाने शरीरे. So in this meaning and purport of this verse, the same as in the Bhagavad Gita, but there is this verse one special word is there. That word is vipaschit, which means knowledge or without with knowledge. Means those who are learned or those who are with knowledge, they understand that how the soul is aja, nitya, sashwata, purana. They understand. Primeval, it is from the very beginning of the existence. So the soul is full of knowledge, full always with consciousness. Therefore, the symptoms of this soul is consciousness, chetana. So, how do you understand that the soul is there? Srila Prabhupada explained that sometimes it is mentioned that the soul is in our left side of the body, in our heart region. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishta. Lord Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishta matta smriti jnana apahanam cha. So, hridhi sannivishta. So, in the heart region, the soul actually reside, situate. But if you want to, when there is a operation, yeah, open heart surgery, yeah, closed heart surgery, when sometimes heart transplant, we do heart transplant, the heart surgeon they do it. So that time, if you want to see through your modern sophisticated machine that whether the soul is there, so you cannot see this because soul is so minute. You cannot see, cannot measure the soul, but you can understand through your vipaschin. So the word is here vipaschin means through your intelligence. So one can understand this, the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Further example, little bit more clear it. Like sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to the clouds, because cloud present there. If you are on an airplane, then what do you do? What do you see? So if you are in the airplane, when the airplane actually crosses and it flies over the cloud, then you see the sun very clear. But for some of the reason, the it is invisible now the sun. But if the little sun is there, little sunlight is there, then we convince that it is daytime. It is daytime. As soon as there is a little light, the sky early in the morning can understand the sun is the sky. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada gave the analogy of all. All means, uh, so all uh, actually it moves in night. Hmm? Night. Daytime all sleeps. If you, some sane person goes, yeah, intelligent person goes to tell that, my dear all sir, please wake up. There is sun, daytime, please wake up. And because all due to moves in night, it open its eyes night time. So all says, no, no, there is no such thing, no such thing. The sun exists. I don't believe. I don't accept it. Mhm. So Srila Prabhupada said this is like all philosophy. But if someone has a little understanding, intelligence, he can understand it properly. So if there is some consciousness, whether man or animal, so we can understand the presence of soul. What to speak of animal if the immovable entity like the trees? Hmm? The trees, when we see the trees, still there is conscious, because if conscious is not there, if consciousness is not there, then still cannot grow. The leaves, branches, it will dry if the consciousness will be not there. So the consciousness of the soul is how different from the consciousness of the supreme, because the supreme consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future in all the cases. So the Lord, the possess the consciousness. So sometimes those who are, commentator of Bhagavad Gita, those who read Bhagavad Gita, but they think that Manushya Buddhi, they think that Lord Krishna, Ram, they appeared in this material world like human beings, but their consciousness, they means there is some difference. The consciousness of the Lord एंड हिज बॉडी, दोनों में अंतर ऐसा वो सोचते हैं. So that's why the consciousness of the individual soul is prone to forgetful. It forgets, although it is Sachidananda, because due to association with this material nature, due to having this body, it forgets. So that's why Arjuna, although he is the immediate associate of the Lord, he is acting like a forgetful man, because he is presenting, put forwarding these questions, and the questions, and in the he is showing that he is in dilemma, he is confused stage. So that's why Lord Krishna is explaining that the difference between body and soul. So when he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. So sometimes when we are forgetful, I want to tell all of you, nowadays in our education system, these things are not described. What to speak of in our education system? Even if in the Western countries, the education system is designed, so they are just giving the lessons, yeah, teachings, which is based on bodily platform. Whatever you study, sometimes it may be on the platform of mind, mental platform. What to speak of the soul? The soul is the vital energy. The soul is the actually man. Uh, I want to tell it component, yeah, main subject of this body. Yes, soul. But nowhere this teachings or lessons is given. So that's why it is all of our duty to help people to understand the existence of soul. Then what is the benefits the people derive from this Bhagavad Gita? See, if they understand that the existence of soul, how the soul is eternal, how the soul is in the original stage, like full of knowledge, full of bliss, cognizant, eternal. So if they understand it, they have some respect to other living entities, that is all these living entities possess soul, they have soul. So yesterday I was explaining that how the body, within this body the soul resides, situates. The soul actually, uh, with the help of this body, enjoy. So this body is like a vehicle. If you will destroy someone vehicle, then it is punishable also. It is not that you are not going to beat the driver, but you are going to crush, yeah, smash that vehicle, then you will be under trial by the laws of the state. Same way, you don't have the right to do harm to any living entity, to destroy anyone's body, because that body, that living entity gets for certain cause, to just you know have his enjoying this material world. Yeah, due to his past activities, he's enjoying, sometimes suffering. So that's why he obtains this body, he got this body. Suppose if you kill a animal, that animal has a certain period of, lifespan is here. If you are going to, destroy its body, then that living entity, yeah, animal, will again takes birth, again comes to in that form. So that's why we have to be very careful. So that's why we have to get the enlightenment and teachings from the superior devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord. Because Krishna is not forgetful, and those who are repeating the message of Lord Krishna, they are also not forgetful. It means they are just repeating, they are just helping what Krishna says. So that's why, if Krishna is forgetful living entity, then the Bhagavad Gita would be useless. It should not have some importance, but it has importance. It is useful because Krishna is full of knowledge. He is God Himself. So the same Bhagavad Gita is now read as a textbook in all over the world. And people are still reading this book, whatever it may be. Like someone is a theist person, atheist person, agnostic persons, someone believe, not believe. Yeah, someone tries to understand through its means intelligence. Someone wants to see it through scientific points of view. In all situations, all conditions, people are reading Bhagavad Gita. So there are generally two kinds of living entity, a soul is described here, but there are three types I want to explain. The third one also I want to tell all of you. First one is minute anu atma, then vibhu atma. Anu atma means we living entities. Vibhu atma means the Lord. And madhyama kruti atma means, like the Jains, they have this explanation. They says that, the size of soul is equal with the size of body. Suppose मेरा कद काठी आप देख रहे हैं. According to Jains, they says the soul of Sachiputra Das is equal with the bodily size of Sachiputra Das. Madhyama Kruti. They say like that. But this is not based on the scriptures. They have their own speculation, I think. So Kathopanishad, there is a verse. Here it is described about the soul and super soul. Anur aniyan mahato mahiyan atmasya jantur nihita guhayam tam akrutuh pasyati vita shoka dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah. So it is said that both the super soul, Anur Aniyan, Mahato Mahiyan, the atomic soul, are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living entity. So here the analogy is, in one tree, two birds are sitting. One is super soul, another is soul. So same way, this body is like a tree. In this body, in the heart, the heart is like the branch. In this branch, two soul is there. One is super soul, another is soul. So only one who has become free. That's why the akratu pasyati bita sokaha, bita soka, free from material desires, bita sokaha, free from material desires as well as the lamentations. He can pasyati, what he can see by the grace of the Supreme. uh, Dhatu prasadan. Prasadan means mercy. Prasad, sometimes the devotees come to our temple and they like prasadam. They say we went to Krishna ISKCON temple and we eat prasadam. So prasad means mercy. Mercy means, so the superior authority, the devotees, the Lord actually, he uh, with their mercy helps us more because we are incompetent. Uh, so we need that help. So that's why by the grace of the Supreme, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Mahimana Atmanaha. So glories of the soul can be understood by the grace of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not so easy to understand. Otherwise, you will be confused. So that Krishna is the fountain head of the super soul. So super soul, how many types of super souls are there? Three types. How? So the Lord residing in our heart, that is Kshirodakshay Vishnu, the super soul of the living entity. Same way, Garbhodakshay Vishnu is the super soul of this universe. And Karanadakshay Vishnu, yeah, the super soul of the whole material creations, whole material creations. Not only material creation, in the spiritual creation also, both he the super soul. So same way it is that's why Krishna is the fountainhead. From the Lord Krishna, everything actually emanates. That's why Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarva pravatante iti matva bhajate mam vidva bhava samannitva. So everything comes out of him. So that's why he is the fountainhead of all the super souls, and it will be disclosed in the following chapters. In latter verses, latter chapters, we can understand it. So that's why on Arjuna, as the atomic soul forgetful of his real nature, therefore he requires to be enlightened by Krishna. So my request is that all of you, do you all want enlightenment? So if you want it, then please read Bhagavad Gita. So every day I am going, explaining it to all of you. Those who are connected with me, thank all of you for watching my videos. And uh, basically, if you have some questions, if you want to reciprocate with us, so please share your thoughts about the soul, super soul. If you understood, in the descriptions, my number is there. You can send it, you know, through your WhatsApp, the message that whether you understood this verse or not. So thank you very much. And you have again, I will request all of you, if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe it. Hare Krishna. Have a nice day. Jagur Srila Prabhupada ki jai.